I was part of a group since I was in high school. I was in a group. We were called the 495 Boys. Well, the 495 is a highway that goes from the beginning of Long Island all the way to the end. You know what I'm saying? And I come from the eastern end of Long Island. So I mean, you being in the Midwest, you may not be familiar with Long Island, but it's an island connected to the state of New York. You know, and it's pretty much considered like the outskirts of New York City, right? So I grew up on the east end of Long Island, and we were really like, we really made a name for ourselves, just doing like little showcases and performing at local clubs and things like that. We were like super hot, but it was so far from everything that it was just there. Like it hadn't grown to the rest of Long Island and New York City yet. And we started to do that thing, and I started to notice that we were getting buzz, and we were getting even more love out in the New York City metro area. So at first I just started to like move a little closer to the city and like really pursue what I was doing. When it came to doing a solo album, I kind of struggled with that for a while, because when you're in a group, it's comfortable. You know what I mean? It's when you're in a group, it's, you got to write one verse. You may have to do a hook, and you're done, right? When you're a solo artist, you actually have to sit there and do a song from start to finish. So it's a lot more work. And then when you're on stage, you're up there by yourself. You're not up there with, with the group, necessarily, right? So I struggled with it for a while, but I got reconnected with my little cousin Brandon. You know what I'm saying? He's like a lot younger than me or whatever, but we've always been close or whatever. And I got reconnected to him, and he lives in Boston. So he's like, yo, you want to start? He's the one that kind of convinced me to start working on a solo project. So what I started doing was I started taking a Chinese bus back and forth to Boston. Like every weekend I would go out there. I did that like 2 or 3 times, and we had enough music for a mixtape for a project. I took it, then he introduced me to some video guys that he knew out there. So I took a video, shout out to Rose Glenn. He shot like my first few videos or whatever. Shout out to Rose Glenn. He's like the big deal now. He's a dope kid. You know what I'm saying? But he shot the first few of my videos. I put the video out. The video, at the time it was a lot to me. I mean, I think in like a week I had like 1,000 views or something like that. And to me, that was like, wow, like that's crazy, And it was just a basic song of me spitting bars. It was nothing crazy, just rapidy rap type video. But I put it out and it worked. Like people started to like really like it. So then it gave me the confidence to put out the first project. But the biggest thing that I remember is like being during that time, being dead broke and pop, like not spending my last on studio time, me and my cousin. I don't know if you ever experienced a New England winter before, but it's like nothing you ever seen before, like nothing you ever felt before. I mean, Chicago is, probably the same thing, and like me and him like walking like 2-3 miles to the studio, or us getting a ride to the studio and not knowing how we're gonna get home or anything like that. Just like, fuck it, we'll figure it out type of deal, but we got to get this music done. And that type of hunger, I never lost it. I never lost that feeling of like, yo, this is all you have type of deal. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what's gotten me so far, because like I remember, I never forgot those times. Like now things are easier. Now when I go to somewhere, they may send a car for me, or they may, whatever the case is, you know what I'm saying? But it was a time when it was like, yo, it was just me and him, and that was it. Now there's a manager, now there's a publicist, now there's all this other stuff. But in the beginning, it was just me and him, and we were figuring it out. He was, he's holding my hard drive, and I'm writing, I'm recording, I'm doing what I got to do, So, those times are like to me, those are the best times, like the most fun. It was like almost like an adventure,